The truth that you may not know about the Ouija board, the ancient soul-calling sign. When the Ouija board was born, people only saw it as an interesting pastime and unrelated to the occult, researcher Eric Eliason wrote in his Encyclopedia American Folklore.
Hey, oh my God! The sword! Jesus Lord! The sword! The sword! The sword! What's wrong? Get rid of it! The sword! The sword! The sword! The sword! The sword! Sword! Are you okay?
The Ouija is a wooden board marked with the letters of the alphabet and two answers, yes and no, occasionally hello and goodbye. Along with that is a small heart-shaped wooden panel, called planchette. The planchette has a small hole, so that the user puts his finger in it. Ouija board is usually decorated with a variety of symbols including the sun, moon, and star. Of course, in countries that do not use Latin letters, Ouija board will print their own letters and words. The heart-shaped piece of wood can easily slide on the Ouija board when the player places his hand on it. Many people believe that the spirits that control the planchette move from letter to letter, eventually creating a message or answer to the player's question. Although the players insisted that they did not move the piece of wood with their hands, Ouija board is usually manufactured and sold by Parker Brothers. Some said the Ouija board came from ancient Greece, but in fact it appeared not so long ago. Elijah Bond invented the game in the early 1890s, after which he sold the patent to entrepreneur William Fuld, who produced and marketed the Ouija board around the world. Finally, Parker Brothers acquired the patent in 1966. When the Ouija board was born, people only saw it as an interesting pastime and unrelated to the occult, researcher Eric Eliason wrote in his Encyclopedia American Folklore. Things gradually changed when Pearl Curran, who was instrumental in reviving spiritualism during World War I, began introducing Ouija boards as a tool for predicting the future, searching for lost objects, asking for daily advice, and communicating with spirits. Soon, thousands of Americans were using Ouija boards to ask if their loved ones fighting in Europe were alive or dead on the battlefield. Many Christians believe that mystical divination tools such as tarot cards, pendulums, and Ouija board can connect, even summon, evil spirits, including Satan. Therefore, the player of the Ouija board will take the distractions themselves and be possessed by demons. Christians are also concerned that Satan could appear in the form of simple games or other paranormal activities such as astrology, sensing, even hypnosis. All are considered forms of expression of witchcraft and condemned in the Bible. Ouija board has been the subject of horror films for decades. Their content refers to the Ouija board as an instrument for humans to communicate with the soul and the devil. Some famous films include The Uninvited, 1944, The Exorcist, 1973, The Changeling, 1980, Witchboard, 1986, Paranormal Activity, 2007, Ouija, 2014. There are two common ways to use Ouija board, with people treating it as a regular toy. When playing, a group of players put their hands on the muscle and read the question aloud. The answer is only yes or no. Sometimes the planchette moves to the correct answer of the question, although those who put their hands on it insist that they do not use their hands to move the piece of wood. Superstitious people believe that the Ouija board is a method of communicating with spirits. The participants used the Ouija board in a different way, placing a finger on the muscle, then through some mystical ritual, they spelled letters that the unconscious muscle pointed to, forming sentences and meaningful phrases. It is thought that such an action is controlled by spirits, communicating and sending a message to us, although the real cause is the ideomotor effect that causes the player's hand muscles to move while they do not know. Explanation of science. That's why the Ouija board attracted the attention of psychologists at the University of British Columbia, Canada, conducting the experiment. There is growing evidence that unconscious thought plays some role in activities that participants unintentionally create. If you're driving on a familiar road that you take every day, then sometimes you've arrived before you realize that you didn't mean to drive a car, which is called an inner zombie, says Hélène Gauchou of the Society for the Science of Subconscious Studies. Unconscious effect. Gauchou's team used a Ouija board to test the role of the unconscious in controlling the action. To simplify the problem, the team each time only let a volunteer put his hand on the planchette. The unconscious effect is maximized if the player believes they are not using their hands to cause movement, which is why the Ouija board is so successful when played by the whole team. The volunteers then announced that they would be playing with the other. The subject is blindfolded, so he does not know that the same player does not put his hand on the planchette when the game begins. This way of trying worked. A few volunteers suspect their players have made an impact, without knowing that they are the only player. Gauchou's team asked the volunteers the yes/no questions using a Ouija board. They then asked the volunteers the same questions, but the volunteers responded by typing on the computer. The volunteers were also asked if they knew for sure the answer or just guessed. When using a computer, if the player does not know the answer, then their answer is half correct. When using a Ouija board, their correct answer number was 65%, indicating that in their subconscious there was an idea of the right answer, and that the Ouija board helped them express that hunch. If you have other information, please share it with us in the comments section.